Hello everyone, I'm Mark Seifter, and I'm going to be your game master for part 4 of our Doomsday Dawn play extravaganza. This is the Mirrored Moon. Now the Mirrored Moon, if you guys have tuned into some of our previous streams, you might recognize these 4 jokers here on the couches as the same players from part 1. The Mirrored Moon takes place 6 years after the previous adventure in 4713 AR. And these characters have all progressed a little bit with the esoteric order of the Palatine Eye and their patron, Kaleri Devrin, who, if you tuned in last time, these guys found her missing heirloom that she needed for the Swallowtail Festival. The plot has advanced a little bit since then, but before I get you guys updated on that, I want to introduce my players and their characters. So, let's start with Katina. Tell me your name, your character, and what have you been doing these past 6 years other than helping out Kaleri with some things she needed?
What have I been doing in the interim? So my name's Katina Davis. I work in customer service here at Paizo. My character is Eva Liren, and she is a half-elf monk. So yeah, in the interim, I've just been kind of wandering around trying to find any news of my missing parents, and also training at various monasteries and learning some new skills.
Mm-hmm. You're a Pathfinder hopeful, right?
Yes, I am indeed.
So I think maybe during that time, the Pathfinders agreed to make you a field agent. Who knows?
Who even knows? Yeah.
We don't know.
I should probably know that.
It's to us all. Alright, I'm Eric Keith, and I'm playing the character called Fen, which is a goblin paladin. In the past 6 years, Fen has gone and gotten speech therapy, so that Fen now actually speaks like a proper person, a little bit of a Chilaxian accent now, as per the instructor that I had. I've also since learned that all dogs are good dogs, and I now have a pet riding dog since I'm a paladin. Oh boy, his name is Bastion, and I've gotten over that fear. Dogs are okay. They're just very protective of the people they love, and Bastion loves me very much. Other than that, my character is now 18 since it's been 6 years. So I am contemplating what to do with what very little is left of my life, as I am now middle-aged at kindest.
And what deity are you a paladin of?
Shaylin. So my character worships Shaylin, and in fact I am now rocking a sweet handmade phoenix costume that I pretty much run around in. I even have a magical item called the Persona Mask, which is a mask that covers your entire face, and it's in the shape of a phoenix. So I'm basically a giant Flappy Bird person.
With a dog.
With a dog. Very important.
A goblin. All right.
Still a goblin though.
Alrighty, I'm Ron Lundeen, a developer here at Paizo. I am playing Melik the Tiefling, a human sorcerer, but one with a definite demonic taint that gives him infernal features. Having grown up in Cheliax, he was really, he's just really bullied, really put down for this, given the name The Tiefling as a derogatory name. He's adopted it, although in the intervening time, he has not set one foot back in Cheliax. That is behind him. Devoted himself to the esoteric order of the Palatine Eye, doing good that he can despite his infernal heritage, or demonic heritage, I guess is the abyssal heritage. Even though he continues to grow in power and sort of the call in his blood prompts him to have the ability to do evil things, he's got an internal struggle where he's trying to fight against that, try to remain noble, and try to do what's right.
Well, we'll see how that winds up in this next adventure.
Hi, I'm Chris Sims. I'm a developer here at Paizo 2, and my character is Luca Meadowpeak. He's a male halfling druid of the Leaf. And for the last 6 years, he's probably been spending a lot of time doing heroic things with his companions, and also doing what he did before he was a hero, and that was helping farmers and in general making sure that the community deals well with the land.
Hey, that's heroic in its own right.
Mm-hmm. Anyone who knows a little bit about this adventure knows that Luca is going to be really useful to these guys pretty soon.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, are you guys all comfortable? You've all settled in? Well, now I'm going to warn you something, which is everything from now on is going to have massive spoilers for Part 4 of Doomsday Dawn, the adventure we are in fact running right now. So if you're planning on playing it later without having spoilers, please wait and queue up this video for later and watch it after you've done that. For everyone else, let's continue onward. So, before I begin, I would like to thank 2 of our partners for some very special things that they've done to help out. First of all, these hero points, of which I've given 2 to everyone, 1 for showing up and 1 for being on a live stream in front of so many people.
Yay.
Our lovely Curse of the Crimson Throne Iliosa minted coins made by our friends at Campaign Coins. And secondly, the soundscape that you are not hearing yet, but will be hearing very soon, comes from our partners at Sirenscape. And the Doomsday Dawn sound set that has exactly the sounds for these encounters we're running right here. It's actually completely free. So really, if you want some cool sounds for Doomsday Dawn, there's no reason not to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about Mirrored Moon. So you guys have been doing all the things that you said for the past 6 years. You have over time become some of Caleri's most trusted agents. Because of that, she has brought you over to an area that is sometimes called Thicket Fell by the people in the River Kingdoms. Now, the River Kingdoms is an area in Golarion that is sort of a wilderness frontier area where who is king at the moment of various regions fluctuates from year to year as small would-be kingdoms appear, fall to crazy incorporeal undead or plants or some other thing, and then some new kingdom pops up. And it also happens to be, Thicketfell happens to be just south, a little bit south of some of the areas that are explored in the Kingmaker Adventure Path, featured in the recently released, just a few days ago, computer game, Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Well, if your adventures in Kingmaker turned out anything like mine, we should definitely avoid that place because it's terrible there.
So Thicketfell is not in any of the exact places that
Thank
Kingmaker
goodness.
is.
Okay.
But if anyone is familiar with Kingmaker, there's an area called the Nomen Heights that is important in Part 3. If you go south from that with a short gap that is not on the map, you will wind up directly in Thicketfell, and the mountains sort of line up with the Tors of Lebanese, which are on that map.
Nice.
This places you guys in an area that's a little bit north of Galt, the country of French revolutions, and a little bit east of Nystra, the fallen river kingdom that nobody knows exactly why it fell unless you read Guide to the River Kingdoms, and then you know. If you go a little northeast, you could get to Maivon, the kingdom of crazy sword lords who like to duel a lot. Or, sorry, that would be northwest. So, that's where we are right now. Caleri has brought you to a camp that the Esoteric Order has set up, and she has the most critical mission of your last 6 years for you. Yes, even more critical than fetching her family heirloom.
Whoa.
And it, as it relates to some of the information you found when you fetched the Star of Desna, she particularly wanted all of you. So, as you guys meet up with Caleri, she welcomes you all to the camp and says the following. Everyone, we've come a long way since Magnemar, but we have so much more to do. We still don't fully know the extent of the Night Herald's plans, though you and others have given us valuable intelligence to work with. We've learned that the Night Heralds seek countdown clocks, but not why. We know that these devices are counting down to the year 4718 AR. That's in 5 years. But we don't know what event will occur then. We know the Dominion of the Black is involved and that a wizard named Ramlock is associated with them, but not what the Dominion wants, nor who Ramlock may actually be. Ramlock is our focus now, though, with the aid of Professor Verid Oslar of Ustalov. We've learned a bit more about this mysterious figure. Ramlock was a Kellid wizard who became notorious in Osirian during that nation's first age, thousands of years ago. roughly about the same time that this area was under the control of a giant cyclopes empire, in fact. Now, Ramlock was a researcher who researched into the Dominion of the Black. By all accounts, he might be among the first on Golarion to begin investigating these alien entities, and perhaps even one of the founders of the Night Heralds. He vanished long ago, but according to our research, his original home was not in Osirian, but rather here, in the outskirts of what was once Kelid land, near the site of something ancient texts refer to only as the Moonmere. Unfortunately, the Night Heralds have learned this as well. We believe they've sent a sizable force to this Moonmere. Something there must be of great importance to the cult, and if it's important to the Night Heralds, it's doubly so to us, for we are still very much in the dark as to their plans. We fear the event they're anticipating in 4718 will be apocalyptic, and while that date is still years away, time is passing quickly. I doubt the forces we've been able to gather on this short notice will be enough to face the Night Heralds, but we've managed to narrow down Moonmere's location. We believe it lies at the headwaters of the Little Selin River or one of its tributaries. Take a look at this map over here of the Little Selin. You can see there are 4 tributaries. We are here on the red marker.
I see.
So there's 4 possible places that it could be. Well, this is where you come in, my friends. While I remain here at the base camp, awaiting the arrival of more support and continuing to research the Moonmere, the Esoteric Order needs you to explore this region. Seek out resources to aid us. Forge alliances with local peoples and creatures. Determine the lay of the land and the dangers within. But we must hurry. For in 2 months, a lunar eclipse, important to the Night Heralds, is set to occur. If we haven't found the Moonmere and routed them from the region by then, who knows what horrors they might unleash upon this world.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'd rather not imagine, actually. That sounds awful.
You might not want to imagine. We have learned that sometimes even imagining things about the Dominion of the Black can cause psychic trauma from a group that encountered a strange mirror.
I know that all too well. They haunt my dreams.
Perhaps you can get some closure by learning more about why and how that happened. Now, do any of you have questions about the local area? We have done some amount of scouting and research gathering.
You say we should make alliances with local creatures. Do you know of any?
Yes, in fact we do. Here is everything we know about the local flora and fauna. It is a true wilderness, so there are all sorts of dangerous monsters out there. We spotted what looked like a few rocks flying to the north, and one of our mercenaries claims to have seen a dragon flying around the mountains to the southeast. Possibly red, although the report is a little bit conflicted. There's stories that Fae once lived in the woodlands, but more recent rumors indicate that at least some of them have moved on. Oh, and there's a tale of some sort of dragon or serpent living in the lake in the middle of the woods. A horrible lake monster.
That'd be a good reason for the Fae to move on, I suppose. That's...
Perhaps.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Depends on how much the Fae needed the water.
Now, if I remember a story of a group of heroes working for the Esoteric Order of the Paladin who weren't us, it was about going into a tomb in Osirian, acquiring one of these gems, and then getting out before the Night Heralds. Do we have... Is our goal here to acquire this mirror and bring it back? What should we do?
We don't actually know what the Moonmere is. And when I say Moonmere, I mean it's spelled M-E-R-E, not M-I-R-R-O-R. Now, it may well be a mirror anyway, but that's not how it's spelled.
Spelled so we just want to get as much information about it as we can.
And you need to do it before the eclipse. Let me show you a handy calendar of Golarion that I've put together for you. So,
Nice.
just for everybody following along at home, Golarion has years that correspond roughly to years in Earth that were the 47 replaced with a 20. So that means 4713 is going to be 2013. Now the days of the week Moon Day, Toil Day, Wheel Day, Oath Day, Fire Day, Star Day, and Sunday are like Monday through Sunday. And so you can see, just like in 2013, when the month of June started on a Saturday, so too does Sereneth start on a star day. Because as we know, 30 days have Rova, Gazren, Sereneth, and Neth. All the rest have 31 except Calistrel. So fine, because it has 28, and on a leap year, 29.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows
Whatever.
that.
I learned that in school.
Also, I've marked Archer Feast on the month of Erastus, because Archer Feast is one of the high holy days of Erastil, the patron deity of our druid here. So if we get to that point, then it'll be your
And you have
holiday.
to take a day off to celebrate the holiday.
Yeah.
And it's,
Have some archery games.
Erastil would not take the day off.
There's
There were
courting.
deeds need doing.
That's fair.
But what if the deeds are feasting and having archery contests?
Also not off.
If the community is at risk. So there's 3 boxes at the bottom here. Ally is where we're going to collect points that indicate however many allies in the region that you're able to draw upon to stop the veritable army the Night Heralds has amassed. Research basically is anytime you guys do something that lets you sort of know the lay of the land and be more likely to get the drop on the Night Heralds, you will get some research. And we're going to be testing not having this drop over time. In the original adventure, research points drop every once in a while as the Night Heralds become more entrenched. We're going to try it out with not having it drop to see how that works. Don't worry too much about this. There's not as many of them as there are of the others. The last one is treasure. So this is an area that was once a Cyclops empire. At some points, the Kellids were here. A lot of the items that you'll find will be of archaeological or artistic interest, but not like a magic item that's good enough for you to want to use it right now. We will turn them into fungible treasure points that are easy to deal with, and then you will be able to cash them in with your friends at the Esoteric Order for some really good items that they can bring in if you collect enough treasure points. So you really want ally and treasure points. Try to get some of these. You should know, because it says I need to tell you, that you have to get your ally and research to equal at least 4 for Caleri to have a big enough force to help you assault the Night Herald's position. You can try it without having that, but I don't recommend
Okay, I guess.
So we need 4 research?
a total of 4 ally and research
Oh,
combined.
a total of 4.
Okay. And since we don't know even which of these headwaters, I mean, we're going to be doing things that we can't just go right there. We have to at least find out where we're going anyway.
I mean,
so
you
on the
could
way,
try to go to all 4 of the headwaters, but if you found the Night Heralds first, it might not be advisable to attack them right away. Do you have any other questions for Caleri? Do you guys want to do any follow-up on any of the monsters that she talked about?
Let's see, rocks and dragons and bears. Oh my!
And rocks and dragons and fae and
Did she say the
some
rocks
kind
were
of-
flying?
Yeah. Do you want to roll a nature check to see if you know why rocks are flying? Because that's a
Sure.
little weird.
That does seem
All
a
right,
little
I'll
strange.
roll a secret
Oh,
one for you.
Very
What's
big
your bonus?
wings.
it is, where did it go? +7.
Okay, so what you know about this is that sometimes rocks become magnetically polarized by the elemental plane of Earth.
Oh yeah,
And that
everyone
causes
knows that.
them to float in the air. The problem is that they're attracted to creatures and they sometimes slam into them.
Can
Why
I-
don't we
can I-
ask the
can I-
druid?
Okay.
No, I got
I
this.
like that theory better, actually.
Would you also like to see what you know about rocks?
Yes.
Are you holding your primeval mistletoe?
My primeval mistletoe is attached to my staff, so I hold it.
Oh,
almost all
great,
the time.
great.
Nice.
Sure. And you can always make sure you're holding it before you do a recall knowledge since it's in action. Okay, you know so much about rocks. So
Rock facts.
This doesn't sound good.
they are not actually, according to you, what your good friend Evaliran said. No, Luca, rocks are giant birds. They don't have a K at the end of their name, it's just ROC. They're big enough to like grab an elephant and maybe eat it. They're basically animals that are just extremely big. So a druid would be a good way to deal with them. If you have any ways that work with animals normally, it should work with them. But they have quite an appetite. They're not evil. They'll pick people up in their talons, and sometimes the way that they like to crack something in a hard shell, such as armor, is to, you know, pick it up, carry it really high, and then drop it for lots of damage.
So they're animals, so would we want to ally with them, or could we ally with them?
You got a druid, so that's a possibility.
That's you.
Yeah, that's
But
you.
I want to make sure that I couch this in gentle terms. I say, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And then I go into you know,
Maybe we're thinking of
so
different
it's-
rocks. It's fine.
It's like a phoenix, but it's not on fire.
That's right.
Oh, where's the fun in that?
You'll have to teach it the fun of
That's
fire.
what you guys know about rocks.
Okay.
I want to hear more about this dragon. It seems as though, from what
Okay.
we've heard, it seems like the Fae might be worth trying to approach as allies.
Okay.
Obviously.
Do you have
Lake
Arcana?
Monster, maybe not. I'm
can-
not
you can
that
always
sort
roll
of
it.
sorcerer.
What's
So-
your bonus? I can roll for you.
5.
Excellent.
In what?
So here's what you know about dragons. Dragons are big flying reptilian creatures that usually have some kind of a breath attack that does counter a line of some kind of energy damage. Some dragons are vicious and just will beat the crap out of you with physical attacks. Others are more tacticians that have a lot of spells. And you won't usually be able to know without knowing the personality and history of a dragon, which is what
What skill did he use?
he used Arcana.
Well, if we've never heard anything about this dragon, I'm going to presume it's not really very noteworthy.
Well, I've heard that red dragons are vicious.
Jerks.
Is that right?
You could use the word jerk.
Well, what's your Arcana bonus?
My Arcana bonus is 6.
Okay. So you've heard that red dragons in
Noise.
particular, white dragons are the ones that are more just directly vicious and savage. Red dragons have a big ego, and they're definitely very evil and will destroy things, but a lot of it is feeding their own ego. And fire is their element of choice.
Ah,
So you're
yes.
not really sure whether it's a cone or a line of fire.
We only suspect this dragon is red.
Yeah.
We're not
Nobody's
sure.
heard for sure.
Only one of her scouts even said they saw a dragon, where there are many reports of rocks coming around. And even that scout saw it from a distance and thought it was red, but it was very far away and during a sunset.
Oh my.
Wow, that's...
But it was in the mountains. Do red dragons live in mountains?
So you think that they do, based on the knowledge that you have, that they generally do, whereas some of the other evil dragons are more likely to be in a swamp or a desert or a forest of some kind.
So
Some
this-
good dragons live in the mountains too.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it was like a shiny silver dragon that was just catching the light just right, and it can actually be our friend.
Could be.
It's a color-changing dragon.
That's the sort of wishful thinking that's going to carry us through this whole.
Exactly. Always
Optimism.
optimism. Yes.
It's going to carry us all the way through to
No.
4718.
Now, let's call it optimism, not wishful thinking.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Kaleri says, so, is there anything else you need from me?
So, I want to know, people have said these Fae have moved on, perhaps. Who says that?
And where did they move on?
Yeah.
and where can we find the ones that haven't
Well-
moved on?
You know how sometimes rumors say things, but you don't really know exactly where the source of the rumors are? We've heard rumors through some of our scouts that are in that new river kingdom that's starting up in the Stolen Lands, of just trappers and people who've passed through the area who have not really noticed as big of a Fae presence around, but that could also just be just old husband's tales or something like that. We're not sure whether the Fae have moved on, whether just some of the Fae have moved on, but supposedly there was once a thrivingly large portion of Fae, such that anywhere you would go in these woods, you're going to run into them. And that is apparently no longer the case, but I'll leave it up to you to find out the exact details of that.
Well, I mean, if they diminish, that doesn't mean they're gone.
And the
Sounds like a
rumors
good
don't
lead.
say that they're gone. It says they don't. They do say that some of the Fae have moved on at the very least, perhaps most, but not necessarily all.
And
I'd
where
really
was-
like to see this lake monster, but it doesn't sound like a smart move for what we need to do.
What do we? Is there anything we can know about lake monsters generally?
Based on the description, give me a nature. Actually, you have a pretty good nature with your mistletoe. So, based on the description, there's a few possibilities of what this thing can be based on its body type. A lot of them don't usually live in lakes, but there are some rumors of a sea serpent is the most sort of basic thing that's about that size, that sometimes live in lakes, sort of the Loch Ness monsters of Golarion. Those things are nasty. They're extremely elusive, so they pretty much always get the drop on you. They can shoot out like psychoactive like seaweed from their gut at a ranged distance.
That sounds
They
awesome.
can rake you with spines on their side, and they can swallow you whole.
Okay, that
If you're
doesn't sound
really,
awesome.
really
Yeah.
prepared for a fight at sea, a group as strong as you guys might be able to take one, but it's certainly not even
And it's certainly
a
not
very
an
likely ally.
Okay,
It wouldn't probably even be able to fit up to where you guys are going to go.
I get the feeling there's some very complex story behind how this thing got here that we're never going to find out, nor do we want to.
They're
No,
probably
it
not
sounds
very
like we should just
diplomatic.
stay away from the lake.
Yeah, I like that idea too. Getting vomited with psychedelic seaweed,
Seaweed.
or eaten and put into a stomach full of psychoactive seaweed.
I think it's algae, actually, now that I think of it.
I wouldn't kick the psychoactive algae, but the method of getting the psychoactive algae, maybe.
yeah,
Don't knock
yeah.
it till you've tried
If you
it.
do kill them, you can try to
all the
harvest
Fae.
some of the psychoactive algae. That
all
is
the Fae
part
went
of
for
what you can get.
psychoactive
But,
algae and never came back.
oh no.
Let's collect some, then we'll throw it in that moon mirror if that really is the lake. See what happens to the people there after a week.
Give it to the dragon.
Oh yeah, there we
The
go.
rocks were to the north.
They're somewhere up in the northern area.
Well,
or
we
at
would-
least the rocks they've seen have been coming from and going back towards the north.
Well, from here we'd be passing through the forest, even if we wanted to go north. So.
And I should point out to you guys, out of character, something your characters know in character, which is thanks to some of the supplies that have been granted to you and the general way that these rivers work in the River Kingdoms, you will be able to move on any hex with a river, even if it's in the forest or the mountains, at full speed. That is excellent. If it doesn't have a river and it's one of these hills up here, you'll go a little slower, and the forest and the mountains will be quite slow. If
Except
you,
where there are
Without a
rivers.
river.
except where there are rivers where you go at full speed. Now, if I recall, all of you guys have either a horse or a dog or something at 40-foot speed, except the monk is actually 50-foot speed.
And can also
fast.
run on water, because why not? Everyone
Yeah.
just does that
Just
now.
run on the water. And so therefore, what that means is you guys will be able to do a little more than 2 hexes worth of movement in a day if it's on a river, essentially. Now, when you want to explore an area because you think, hey, something cool might be in this area, that's going to take up to 2 days. We're going to have you guys roll, and based on your success or failure, the worst thing that can happen is that it'll take 2 days. The best thing that can happen, potentially, is that if it was empty, you even get a clue that kind of tells you where to find a nearby hex that does have something in it. So,
do we
that's
have a
pretty
map?
unlikely.
Do we have it? She has a map for
She
us?
has a map that looks like this. As you can see, it's not marked with anything really other than where the forest and the mountain and the rivers go.
So since our clues are rocks and Fae, we should go down the river or maybe skirt the lake and then head north.
I like this. plan.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think we've got any reason to start wandering off the river until we get a good clue. We just don't have enough time.
And you have 2 months, so you have an okay amount of time. But yeah, if it takes 2 days to search everything, that's going to be
Yeah,
an
we're not
issue.
gonna-
And you
we
know the
have to-
fair in the woods.
Okay.
That's the
Let's
most
head
focus
towards-
we've
You
got.
see, this takes us through a bunch of forest, and then we could, if the rocks are up here,
But then we go by the lake.
we,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
but
we
we
don't
stay.
go-
We don't go into
tiptoe
the.
around the
The
lake.
hexes
yeah.
are about 12 miles wide.
Oh, wow,
So,
okay.
We're gonna avoid the lake.
and sea monsters usually don't come out onto the land, so it's only if you guys want to pick a fight with the lake monster
Just
that
gonna
you might
skip
have to
some
fight
pebbles.
Okay,
like,
Just run out there.
yeah. What?
So
Oh,
if we
yeah.
can,
I
if we
can-
can travel
Tempted.
2 hexes in a day, we could leave. The first day will get us into the forest.
it. That's right.
Okay.
And then maybe look around. If we don't find anything, maybe move a little further in the forest and look around. Should
Yep.
we?
Let's
Yeah.
act on that
Except you
plan.
just pointed at the lake hex. which
Yeah,
is-
so...
Except,
Yeah, you go
yeah.
under and around or
Except
something
we'll
like
go
that.
around.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Sure.
jinx it with the
So,
lake.
let's get started then, everybody. But
Okay.
before you leave, Clary says just one thing. If you do find any kind of art objects or objects of archaeological value that you want to try to trade in for useful items, we're going to need to find a way to do that exchange. It may involve sending a runner out to me or some other magical means at your that you have. Also, if you find the Night Heralds and gather enough allies, I can try to bring some of our forces up to help you, but I'm going to need advance notice. So consider what method you might have in your repertoires to contact me. We have a few kind of starting off adventurers around here, including a druid who can just barely cast Animal Messenger. So if you give me a message that tells me a landmark that's easy enough to get an animal to go to that you'll be waiting for, we can send a bird or something to send you a reply.
And I can do the same.
And we'll be here, so that'll be easy on your end.
Yeah, so we find any of these valuables, what we probably ought to do is set up like a drop point and let you know where to go get it and bring it back. That way we don't need to wait for somebody to come to us, we can just keep going.
It could potentially be tricky, but we can try it. The river kingdoms are known to sometimes have bandits, although we've heard that the banditry in this area is very low.
I mean, I can't imagine we're going to go that far from the rivers, so as long as the animal's following the river, it should find us.
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
Good luck, everyone. You have 2 months. One of those months has 31 days, so
Nice, we get that extra
it's
day.
61.
2 months in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Can we get a bunch of rations before we go? Because that'd be great.
I was hoping you'd already brought some of those, but we do have some here at the base camp at our general store for purchase.
Have you got rations?
No.
Also,
I
if
can
I
feed myself.
I recall
I have
correctly,
9 days, and
Luca
I now think that's
can make
not
good
enough.
berries.
I can
like,
also make good berries.
Yep.
Quite a lot of them.
Oh wait, those are the ones where it's like a full meal.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Oh, I had one of those in life. Okay, I'm fine. I feel like we're fine then.
Do you get 5 per
Lembas
casting
berries.
now?
Yeah.
So that means,
Whoa.
and each one's a meal, so that means he can feed almost half the group with 1 spell point, and almost the entire group with 2. And it heals,
Nice.
because it's
So-
10.
And I can forage for myself every day, so one assumes that I could also find berries, and then
Oh yeah. There's berries.
so I can feed us.
There's berries
As
pretty
long
much
as you
everywhere
like
except the
berries.
mountains.
I love berries.
All right. So just to get ourselves started off, why don't you guys move yourselves into that forest like you said, and then we're gonna have some fun.
One
By which
day.
I mean that's your first day. So I'm gonna mark it off on this map here. We've used up this star day. I'll put it up for you guys to see. I'm not gonna do that every time you guys use a day, but it was the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Had to show it
Oh,
off.
boy.
So, if you're looking for Fae in here, using just general perception or survival, your choice. It's a little easier to use survival, but you guys might not have that, and the new untrained penalty is going to make that harder. Speaking of the new
Yeah.
untrained penalty, everyone, in version 1.3, the penalty for being untrained has decreased from -2 to -4. That means that if you're not trained in it, you really probably don't want to roll that instead of perception, which everyone is at least trained in.
So I'm going to use survival. 'cause
Okay.
I have a plus 14.
And if you guys are using any methods other than a general looking around, like some weird abilities that you have, let me know about that too, because that will not be included in the basic skill check. So,
If it helps, I also have green empathy and wild empathy.
okay,
You know,
that
so
will.
I can talk to plants and animals.
I believe
have
that
you
those
seen any Fae in the
those
area?
both
That's-
make plants and animals love the crap out of you, but you do need magic to communicate with them, if I recall correctly. I think you read one of them during the sound test, and it said that.
Yeah.
But you can easily get the spells you need for that as a 9th level druid. So, yeah, if you want to go ahead and prepare some speak with animals and speak with plants, thanks to your double empathies, they're gonna the DC is pretty low on basic animals and plants you find in the wood. They're gonna love you.
Okay.
I think you also have do you have a skill feat that lets you make an impression on them right away?
Yes.
They're gonna talk your
They're
ear
gonna
off.
love you right away, like Snow White.
You'll be like a Disney princess with just like an army of animals following you everywhere.
That's what I wanted.
But they're all talking at once. You're just like, ah.
So first, let's just roll our skill checks to see what those are going to be, or our skill or perception checks, your choice. And just let me know what you get on your perception or survival. And is anyone assisting someone else if they think that that they want to? I guess we should have said that before we rolled. Using an aid is only a DC 15, and you could give a potentially a +2 or a +4 on a critical success to your best person, which is probably the druid.
Could I use perception to aid his survival, or would I have to use my survival to aid his
I'm gonna say, since you guys are doing basically the same task, I'm going to allow the perception to aid the survival. However, at my discretion, I can raise the DC of an aid, and I'm gonna give it a very small raise, but not very much. So you should still probably do it if you don't have survival.
Well, I will definitely aid you then.
All right.
All right.
Probably
Okay.
should,
What?
but-
So we'll just say that he did because I forgot to mention it beforehand. Was it a success? A critical success?
Just a basic success.
Okay. So that's 2 more. So
Okay.
what you got?
27.
All right, that
Dang.
succeeds. That means that, in fact, that's just what you needed. So,
Nice.
it's pretty hard, but everybody gets to roll, so chances are somebody's going to get it, especially this guy who gets it half the time with an 8. So, it only takes 1 day to realize, yeah, there's not any Fae in this particular hex. And that's just from your searching. But you also can spend a little bit of time talking to some animals and plants, if you want, with your empathies. In that case, would you like to talk to plants or animals first?
Yes. No. I'll talk to.
Which one do you like
animals.
the most?
Animals
Animals.
first.
All right.
I like plants the best, so I'll talk to animals first.
Okay. Well, it's a
Save
lower
the best
level
for
spell. Save the best for last. All right. So, what kind of animal are you going to try to approach? This is a wooded area, so it's got
The squirrels always know what's
squirrels. Okay.
Evil.
Squirrel.
Oh yeah,
They're evil though.
You
They're
find,
plotting.
you
terrible
find a
gossips.
squirrel and you go up.
Terrible gossip.
So
squirrels are.
even before you start talking to it, thanks to your skill feat, see if it loves you
Uh-oh.
just immediately. Hobnobbing with squirrels.
Oh my god, you're my best friend.
Wait a minute. Do I add? I use diplomacy. Okay.
Use diplomacy, and then I think it takes a penalty for a hobnobber, but with no failure or something.
22.
Glad hand.
Okay. Yeah, so the squirrel just, before you even say anything, is like, oh man, you're cool. Who are you?
My name is Luca,
Hi,
and I want to know if
my name is Best Acorn Hunter.
is it true?
What? What true?
Your name.
True name? What? My name is Best Acorn Hunter.
Okay, never mind. Do you know about
Don't mind.
any fae around here?
Squirrel hobbind. Fae?
Like,
Fae?
like,
What is Fae?
like, fairies, like
Fairies?
people who live in the woods and the trees and.
Living tree lady. Yes, living tree lady. Yes, living tree lady, living tree.
There's a lady who lives in the trees.
Living tree lady, living tree.
That's promising. That's very
That's
promising.
very promising.
I'm
Yes,
just
yes,
wadding
yes.
you.
Oh, where is she?
Sun come way.
East?
Sun come way.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Sun come way. Big tree. Living tree lady live in the big tree. It has all the acorns.
I give Best Acorn Hunter a berry.
Berry. Whoa! Best berry finder.
Yes, Best Berry Finder.
Luke, best berry finder.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
I go find acorn now.
Okay.
He goes to find some acorns.
So
Oh,
did
what
you
did I
screeching
say?
at that rodent make it?
Yeah, so you guys all just hear him
We're all just-
screeching at a squirrel, which he eventually feeds a berry to.
Was that helpful?
Yes, there's a lady who lives in a tree to the east.
It
which
said
is,
that.
Okay.
Which is a dryad.
It's smart enough to understand, like, comprehend the concept of east.
So you know that ladies that live in trees are generally dryads,
Okay, good.
and that they have the ability to live within a tree in a little comfy home that they have in there, but they are also kind of bound to the tree, can have some issues if they get really far from it.
Oh, which is if a lot of the other Fae left, they maybe couldn't.
Aww.
Oh, that makes me
Yeah,
sad.
that's,
Oh.
we should go say hi.
They
to
can
the,
change up their tree if they have to, with a ritual.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay.
We were
can move.
concerned about the dryads
Or
for
be
a
like a
second there.
bonsai tree dryad.
So knowing about a dryad is not something that Luca would necessarily know, but you just said that I do.
Yeah, you wouldn't automatically know, but
Okay.
it sounded like you were doing a recall knowledge there in character, so just, I like to speed things up, and when that comes up, I'll roll a secret check for you and give you more info there. If it was in combat, I would have had to ask you to take an action, but since it wasn't, you got all the time in the world.
We weren't fighting the acorn hunter squirrel.
Yes.
imagine
Best
that.
acorn hunter.
A bonsai tree druid would just be like the small home equivalent of like a druid, where it's like it's very cramped.
It's
but
a tiny home.
yeah, it's a tiny home
A
druid.
little
So
wheels
he
on
said that
my
that this living tree lady lives in a tree that's to the
To the
sun.
east.
Yeah, sun come way.
Sun come way.
That's sort of the direction we wanted to head anyway, because we wanted to curve around the lake. So
Sure do.
Yeah, we sure do.
All right.
Psychoactive algae. Oh boy. That's how I start every
So the
adventure.
good news is that the fact that you can only really make it through one hex a day in the forest is equal to the amount of time it takes to search a forest hex anyway, or less. So if you just keep going, it's 1 day, possibly 2 days each time. Speaking of which, I will take the day off for this best acorn hunter day. So
Today
we
was a
moved
good
on.
Sunday.
We have
Yeah, it was a
observed.
good Sunday. It's time for Moon Day.
Here are your berries.
Oh right, yeah, a trail
I hate
rations.
moon days.
Okay. Yeah, you got a case of the Moon days.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
need some lasagna.
The mirrored moon days. All right. So,
What he did there.
oh, I should have made it so it ended on a moon day when the eclipse happened, but
Oh,
that's not when the eclipses really happen.
It's the worst moon day ever.
All right. So you guys gonna head one more to the east
Let's do
through
that.
the forest?
Takes,
All right.
takes
the
a day,
next
right?
day.
Yep.
This is the next day, and that also includes the searching because while you're moving through the hex
We do our
to get to
looking
the other
around
side, you
while
do
we're-
your search. It may in fact take 2 days. So give me your rolls.
I'm gonna assist.
Okey-dokey.
Yeah, he's
Assist.
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
like
I
that
critically assist.
Critically assist. Oh man, you
Yay.
would have gotten a critical benefit if you had rolled on your own.
Can we all assist
Regular
or
assist.
isn't there like a
You
limit?
can, but it doesn't stack. So
So the fact I'm giving
because of the fact
+4 is
that
the
Ron
best
gives
we
a
can do.
+4, we theoretically should have
Okay.
declared ahead of knowing that. But
Mine's
it's fine.
24 then. So.
Okay, and you got
Regular assist.
okay. So,
I
but
got
you
plus
roll.
4
Yeah,
total. Okay.
you got a +4 from your assist.
Okay. So all I got this time was a 21.
Ah, natural 3. All right, so it does take 2 days to search this area, and you find that in
24.
fact she is apparently more sun come way than that hex.
or Eric word, anti-Ron word.
Yeah, more Eric word or
So
sun
that-
come
So in
way.
other words, that hex is she's not there.
You're sure that there's nothing in this hex.
We just go around. Like,
You'll just have
knocking
to
on
go-
trees.
Can't
Keep
see
going.
the forest.
Hello?
Either
Either the,
polite way.
either the
Yeah.
squirrel was bullshitting you to get a berry, or it's going to be in
Hey,
this
I
next
didn't
one.
reveal the berry until after.
You're right. You're right.
It's true.
It seemed to really like you. Like I was never even thinking about the combination of having the hobnobber skill feat with both of the two kinds of empathies on a druid. That is pretty rad. Okay.
Everybody's
That's
best
it.
friend.
Disney princess in the making.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Seriously.
now you guys are going to search this one, which,
Yes.
if squirrels are to be trusted, is probably where the Fae are. So let's give it a roll again.
We told you we didn't
Who's
trust
assisting?
squirrels.
I don't like when you say
Who,
it.
if
If the
any,
squirrel
are
is to be
assisting?
trusted.
This time I'm going to try assisting Katina's.
Okay.
I'll assist you.
All right.
Evalier crab walks around at rapid speed.
All right.
I assist critically again because I get 25.
Oh, that's amazing. So what did you get with a
So
critical
that's
assist?
4, 12, 26.
Nice.
Not
I rolled
quite.
a 10, so I get a 21.
Okay.
23 because I assisted.
Yes. You
Still
guys
didn't beat you.
barely took the extra day, but you do eventually. And I suppose during this time, now that you're in the correct hex, if you want to use your magic again to talk to animals and plants, I don't know if you're still preparing it. You might be able to speed things up because they'll be able to not always say eastward if it, because spoiler alert, it's the right hex. I don't know. Have you been preparing and talking to more animals and
I was
plants?
gonna, while we were still searching and I didn't know we were gonna fight anything, I would probably be preparing those spells. So
Okay.
I'm a pretty good singer, so I'll probably be singing loudly as we go to
Why don't you
attract
roll me a
attention.
diplomacy check for them, and we won't play it out this time because just for the sake of the stream.
That one.
Nope. Okay, so yeah, they got mad at you.
the animals are crabby here.
Oh wait, that was your hobnobbing check.
That's right.
And it never has a negative consequence, so you
right.
get to
Roll
roll
another
your
nat
check.
one.
Hobnobber
That's
is really
pretty
quite good. All right,
So with a regular diplomacy, it's 27.
great. So yeah, you actually find that because it's a dryad, the plants of this area know her pretty well, and your ability to speak with them lets you narrow it in on. So I'm going to say, at the very least, that lowers the DC from, I guess it was like a hard +4 for everybody rolling it to a medium, and that means that you easily make it.
Okay.
So It does only take you 1 day. I'm going to put up the calendar. So at the time of finding the Fae, you are now have used up 5 of your 61 days, and it is
everyone still
is
enjoying
wheel
camping?
day. Yeah. I guess I've crossed off the day for searching, but it is this day, wheel day.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just enjoying watching you stare at plants for 5 minutes and suddenly be like, tell us where we need to go.
Yeah, wait, do you talk
they-
out
He makes
loud
a sound like the rustling of leaves.
Like,
With
sits
a
there
great
just kind
deal
of
of
like,
trust in you, that's the upshot. When you look at a plant and make a rustling sound for 10 minutes and you're like, we're going to go this way for 40 miles. I'm like, I guess we are.
Sure, okay.
okay.
I swear I'm not just making this up.
Well, I got a little concerned when you were talking about that owl and it kept on asking who, and you kept on emphasizing it, and it started getting angry.
The tree lady! That's who!
Also, even as you started exploring this hex before you found it, with a nature check that is so obvious that you would automatically succeed at this, except on a natural one, you're able to determine the vegetation in this region is very healthy and vibrant in this particular hex, because of the presence of a powerful Fae creature.
Although there's still poison ivy, so watch out.
Yeah.
This suggests that it might not just be a regular dryad. It might be a dryad queen, or one of the more powerful versions of dryads. Because different nymphs, like dryads, naiads, and any of the rest of them, sometimes they're queens, and they're more powerful.
That would be a good ally to have.
Yeah. Well, I have society untrained, so I have no idea how not to offend her. So I'm sure this will be fine.
Good. Oh, me too. Dang it.
Yeah, we'll just walk up and just pick our noses in front of her. I hope that's cool.
So,
She won't.
using your tree contacts, you're able to find your way to a grove with an ancient oak tree. And there are some acorns there, so your squirrel led you the right way. As you approach, a woman walks out of the tree. Her skin seems to be made of wood and her hair seems to be made of leaves. I will show you all a picture that our friends on the stream are seeing up on the stream.
Ooh, a really tall gnome.
And she speaks
Oh, my bad.
she speaks at first in Sylvan. Does anybody know Sylvan?
Stare.
All right. She sighs and tries again in Elven, which you guys probably
Get it.
you know some Elven. She says hello, and when only you seem to understand, she continues in common.
Hi.
Hello, adventurers. What brings you to? And then she notices that there's a leaf order druid with his ability to make an immediate impression. Do you want to roll your automatic impression?
Yeah, I say apologies that we could not speak your language at first, but we are here to talk to you. Oh, it's only 18
Okay.
for the
Yes.
glad hand.
Right. So she looks at you up and down. She says, "I've not had good experiences with humans and their ilk, especially adventurers.
Not
But I've
human.
heard that
Neither.
those of the order whose magic is clearly entwined within you are reasonable and understand the needs of plants. So I'm willing to hear you out, but know that if I don't like what I hear, I will demand that you leave my domain."
That's fair.
So, what has brought you here, humans and humankin?
Aw.
I explain about the Night Heralds.
We're in need of allies.
We're in need of allies that they threaten this
Help and
region.
direction. And
All right, roll your non-glad handle, and somebody can assist you on this.
Is this diplomacy?
Yes,
I will assist.
this is to make an impression.
Oof, well, I succeed.
Okay.
I succeed,
I'm going
so
to
I
try
got
and
a
assist you as well.
30.
Okay.
Ooh. I critically assist you.
Okay,
All
I
right.
got a 32.
32.
Nice.
Okay.
I'll do some.
That definitely succeeds,
we're not like all
especially
those
since
other
you're a
people.
leaf order druid. So I'm giving it an ad hoc reduction in the difficulty it normally has, since she's pretty standoffish because adventurers who don't care about plants have been around here.
I have a Leshy familiar.
Yeah,
too,
you
so-
clearly have a Leshy,
Aw.
you have leaf order magic, and a primeval mistletoe. She says,
I guess you're okay.
You're down
"You
with leaves.
seem to understand the needs of the forest are different. and on a different time scale than the needs of the human kin. I will allow you to explore and scout my domain, provided you ensure that these harm not my trees in doing so. These night heralds do sound troubling, but perhaps they would not be any danger or on a time scale that would threaten the trees. Why then should I assist you further? So you've made a good impression on her. She now likes you, but if you want to beg her for additional help, you can do that now. It would require a further check.
5 years is probably not very long for the trees. But if it's all you got, then 5 years is sort of the hard stop for everybody if they want to bring, if their apocalypse they want to bring out succeeds.
You're saying that bring an alien apocalypse, a flora beyond our ken, and 5 years is very short for the trees.
It's incredibly short.
We would prefer that the trees continue to flourish and grow like the societies.
All right, roll again with an assist, at least from Ron, who is talking about the time scale here. He clearly added something to this check.
+2.
Normally, I'd ask everybody what they're adding every time they assist, but we have to keep it moving for the stream.
Yep.
Alright.
That means I got a 22.
All right. She looks at you and she says, "Perhaps I would be inclined to help you, but as with much of the help from the Fae, I must first ask you a boon, for my intentions are split right now. There is a gang of cyclopes that dwell to the southwest of here, approximately 20 miles across the river. They have become a blight to this forest, for you see, they use their axes to cut down trees and build their longhouse, and overhunt the creatures of the woods. You find a way, whatever human kin way that may be, to prevent this from happening, then I and my allies," and as she says this, she raises her hand, and a bunch of the trees in the grove come to life and are apparently some kind of tree creature, which you immediately recognize as something called a treant, pretty powerful ally, will no longer need to be on the defensive against the cyclopes. And we
When
can
the trees
commit.
come alive, I gasp. Like,
Is that normal?
We can commit our assistance to attacking this Night Herald army in that case. Would that be agreeable of a bargain?
I would be happy to do such a thing for you, even regardless. But by stopping them, what do you mean? Like stopping them from harming your domain or the entire forest? Because it seems like they would probably need at least harvest some wood and some animals.
Surely there must be some way for them to build out of stone. There are many mountains in the nearby area. Or you can kill them all. Human can have many different ways of solving problems, and to a tree, or one such as I, the life of a cyclops is short. Either way, I will shed no tears for their death, if that is the result. Nonetheless, it sounds like you think that you need every ally you can get, and that all should fear this threat that will destroy us all.
Yeah, before we get going with the straight-up assassination mission from the Dryad, what do we know about cyclopses? Are they naturally evil?
So do you know society in any way? Or have
I
some kind
don't.
of weird historical or cyclops-based lore?
I don't believe that the Cyclops were very much part of ancient Osirion. So
Okay,
that's
no, they weren't
far from Golgan
really in
and
that
far
area.
from here.
So,
yeah.
we'll
Plus
just
5.
do it on train. +5? You actually do know a little bit about them. So the Cyclops once had some pretty big empires. You remember just earlier in the adventure that this region had one, at the very least. There are some others in other areas, maybe around sort of much southwest of here. But the main upshot is, for various reasons, these empires have fallen, and the Cyclops have never been the same. They are a shadow of their former selves. Nonetheless, the one thing you know about their abilities is that they have a terrifying ability to just occasionally catch a flash of insight from their former glory, and when they do, you don't want to be what they're focused on, because they will succeed.
Oh.
So are they evil?
They are generally evil, but in the sense of not like a demon or some kind of rampaging beast that will destroy all before them, but in the sense of kind of selfish and kind of degenerate from their original glory. Some individual cyclops might not be evil. They're not a monoculture, but on the whole, they tend towards evil and a little bit of savagery due to how their empire has fallen and decayed.
We ought to at least check that out, I think. Although that reminds me, I want to ask the dryad, or maybe ask you to ask the dryad, if, in fact, this whole area used to be part of an ancient Cyclops empire, do the trees know of any leftover ruins, treasures? They're not going to care about them, but they're the kind of thing that Clary would think was awesome.
That's a good point.
That's a good question.
Also, the Pathfinder Society would be very interested in some of this stuff. Not sure how much Kaleri will be willing to part with, though.
Do you ask the dryad of this?
Yeah.
The trees have little care for such trinkets, and they do not move from where they stand vigil. The Cyclops Empire stretched for the most part through the mountains, and ran just north of here mainly. It was said that at its height, controlled lands vast between various human kingdoms whose names I've forgotten as they do not matter. But all was lost when the sky grew dark, and the trees could no longer draw sustenance from the light. This was long ago, when these trees were not even born, not even the oldest in ancient oak here. But they speak of these things.
So no on the treasure front.
The trees don't know where to find any particular treasure.
We can find that squirrel again.
Yep.
He'll probably just tell us
Treasure
about
full of acorns.
yeah.
Yep.
Or some world tree he climbs up and down and delivers insults between a dragon and an eagle who have lots of treasure. You know, like squirrels do.
Yeah, obviously.
Typical squirrel.
I don't know if this is the intent of what you were talking about going over there. It seems to me that if we're going across the hex, not going in any kind of direction of the river.
She said to go about 20 miles southwest, crossing the river. So basically where your finger
right
is.
here. But this doesn't count as a river hex for the purpose of travel if in fact we're going cutting across it.
That's true. Let me see. Are you in hills? Yes. So you can barely pull. You're at the slight movement penalty, but you could do more than 2 in a day, barely. So you can barely pull off 2 hexes
so we
in a day.
could probably get there if we get up real early and don't
You
make
get
a lot of
there,
stops
and
for
then
lunch.
you have to start
Eat berries
searching.
on the road.
You have to start searching on the next day.
I just walk across the river and I'm like, what are you guys doing?
But you guys know that
Why don't you
Cyclops
just-
Show off.
Yeah.
that Cyclops can be brutal creatures, so this time you know in advance there might be a fight with these guys.
Right.
Also, your basic knowledge of them roughly is that they, other than that one scary ability, an individual Cyclops should be much weaker than like this monk. Your monk is very
You're
powerful.
pretty tough,
Yeah, she's
actually.
pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Weaker than you is still a pretty
She
high
should
bar,
be able to
frankly.
beat like a group of several Cyclopes, other than maybe that one scary power,
Well, I
just with
think
her bare hands. Not that that is actually
Yeah.
a downgrade for a monk.
I don't know if
These
I'll do that
giants-
if we can.
These giants would be valuable allies too.
Maybe we should go talk with
We
them.
could convince them.
Well, if we, I
To
mean,
do
there's
what
as
we
much
want.
danger to them as there is to anybody else. We
Yeah.
can convince them of that.
I'd rather not fight them. I will if I have to. But
All right.
All right. So, do you guys want to do that plan? Move yourself to the right hex.
As a sorcerer, my spells are what they are, regardless. And I am ready to fight if we
And-
have to, but I'd rather not.
This time you don't have like supercharged lots of plants to talk to, so you're gonna have to actually search to find this supposed Cyclops longhouse. So
on the day that I'm going to fight, I'm not going to be preparing.
that's
those spells
a fair
anyway,
point
so.
too. So how about everybody roll? We'll see if it takes 1 or 2 days.
This is the same perception.
I am not assisting this time. I'm just doing this myself.
I'm going to do it myself as well.
All right. So what did you guys get?
23.
26.
22.
Okay, so because nobody assisted, that barely fails.
Dang.
2 days later.
Go us!
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, we got this.
No, you guys are doing pretty well. We kind of, the way that the 2-month schedule is set, we expect you to make some of them, fail some of them. You guys have actually made more than I think is average.
Nice.
You might even be able to finish the entire thing in like around 1 month, which is pretty crazy. So let's see how it goes though, because sure enough, on star day, and I put an X on it, but that's what day it is. So roughly a week after you started, you find the Cyclops longhouse in the distance. Doesn't look exactly like you might have expected. So let me talk about this for a moment.
Know what I was expecting. So.
I don't know what you expected. So
Can I back up 1 second? In the day when the day it took us to get here,
yeah.
can you send a message to Claire? Just let her know about the kind of what we're doing in the drive. I mean, if we go
That's a good idea.
if we go missing, then she'll at least have
Yeah.
a leg up on the next group that she.
Just
sent out.
FYI,
So the last
we
group
might
we
be.
sent,
Yeah, we talked to a squirrel.
Yeah, I
that
can do
was
that.
fun.
talked to some plants. I guess
some
that was fun.
Cyclops.
And then we talked to a nice plant lady who then...
need to go to that level.
Also, I know you guys intend to try to make allies of the Cyclops, but it's possible that a fight might break loose. So let's just have the map out so that we know where you would be if that happens.
Okay.
Now, how this works on this table, I have sort of seen these streams, but not done one before, so you guys know better than me how to fit this.
Well, our marker just fell off
So-
the side of the world.
Oh no,
very far
you
south.
guys are gone. You're gone forever.
No, here we are.
It's all turtles
there you
down
go.
here.
Around.
So
fine.
I want you guys to put yourselves all the way at the edge so that you're not in the. In fact, maybe just off the map because they're going to be.
Let's move the map down
my little
a
guy.
little bit.
There are going to be 2 cyclopes that are guarding at all times, and the fact that this is the case will make sense as soon as I explain to you what the longhouse looks like. Because again, you didn't know what to expect, but it surely wasn't this. It's an oversized longhouse with stone walls and a roof made of split lumber. Well, that's not what, or that is what you would expect. They were cutting down the woods.
Please.
It's the top of rocky hill. Curls of smoke waft up from a vent in the roof. The approach is protected by tree trunks sharpened into wooden spikes, adorned with bones.
More trees.
Now,
Still feel like
a
this.
lot of these wooden defenses in the roof seem like they were just burned by fire and they've just been repaired up. And let's see. Secret perception. All right, as you guys are approaching, the first one to notice this, and others corroborate as you get closer, is Melek. The fire damage seems to have been from an intensely hot and rapid burst of fire, which is more similar to a fireball spell than, say, a forest fire or a slow-burning fire.
Dragon
Or
breath.
dragon breath. But also, it was directed downward from above, which...
Like dragon breath.
Like a fireball spell. Wait.
like a flying wizard casting a fireball
I
spell.
think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Like
knew
fiery
it.
flying rocks.
Oh yeah,
with
those
magnetism.
rocks. Because some of those rocks actually are connected to the plane of fire and not just the plane of earth.
Yeah,
And
those
they
are
have fire.
yeah,
Yeah.
phoenixes. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the Phoenix
Phoenix.
ones.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So Phoenix down, like it
So
crashed
this
down.
longhouse is scaled about 150% in every dimension compared to a person, so it just looks very big because these cyclopes are pretty big, as we can see from the minis here.
I'm a goblin.
They're
Everything
even bigger
is huge.
for, goblin.
Yeah.
Especially to little goblin.
Also,
Now I know what you feel like
Yeah.
walking around a human.
Yeah, like
town.
the table is like the ceiling right there. It's like, oh, that's nice.
what's your religion?
Religion.
Yeah, your religion bonus.
+9.
Okay. So another weird thing is that like these cyclopes, one of them seems to have like a symbol of Gazra, which is pretty unusual for a cyclops to have. They usually, a lot of them worship Pathos, who is like an obscure, like evil Cyclops deity.
And Gazra is.
Gazra, everybody, including you on the stream, is a neutral deity. It's sort of a deity that is both a male and a female aspect. Is the father of the sky and the mother of the seas, all in one. And also Herzog spelled backwards.
The duality of nature kind of symbolized as a god.
Yes, it's a Gazra, along with Erastil, make up the two most common druidic deities. If for druids who worship a deity instead of the green faith or some other philosophy.
Maybe you can be buddies.
Certainly pretty unusual for Cyclops. So, Cyclops go on the defensive as soon as you guys are approaching, and honestly, even before you get to this
Before you
point.
get that far.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to put my hands up. And whoa. We're not.
Well, I'm going to step up and also say,
Oh, yeah.
hello, friends.
It's a
make
glad handle.
Immediate good, make an
Let's
immediate
roll
good
your
impression.
immediate no bad consequences glad handle.
Ooh.
Oh my.
Wow.
It's at -5 though, so
It is.
That's only 26.
Only 26.
Only, yeah.
Aw.
That's actually exactly what you need to make a good
Nice.
Wow.
I say hello, friends and followers of Gazra,
Oh, he seems cool.
Lord of the air and the sea.
Yeah, it's okay, guys. Put your weapons down. He's fine.
I thought we were gonna have a burst into song with your ridiculous,
Ready.
your ridiculously high performance bonus.
I have like a
you
string
at home when
instrument
you
out
look
like
at his
behind you,
character
just like
sheet,
ready.
look how high his performance bonus is. This is very high.
You just start
But
singing,
no,
oh
this
man, I love
druid
Gazra.
man is just the friendliest druid. So the Cyclopes are like, yeah,
He seems cool.
this guy's
seems chill.
okay. And they're gonna call out. Does anyone speak Giant? They're a little more comfortable talking. Or sorry, Jotun.
No, Jotun.
All right. Well, fortunately,
No.
one of them
Can't
speaks
carry
Common,
Jotun.
and I'm gonna say
I did address them in common.
you did address them in Common. Says, "Why you come here?"
We're a group of professional dragon slayers. Just traveling through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dragons.
Yep. Professional dragon
Yes.
slayers just traveling
Dragon
through.
slayers.
Yes.
Only the mean kind of dragon.
You haven't had
though.
any dragon troubles, have you?
Have you been the victim
We
of a
really like
dragon
dragon
strike?
murder.
They point to the side of the longhouse where there's like this sort of monument-looking thing. That is the grave of Aigret, our leader,
Oh no.
Oh.
killed
Is it
by
a recent grave? Like a recent?
yes,
Oh, wow.
killed by a red dragon
It was a red dragon.
on a vision quest. The bones are not here in the monument, for the dragon probably ate Aigret.
Went on a vision quest. Dragon killed him. He did not see that.
Well, it was
coming.
unclear about his phrasing there. It could have been the dragon
Was
on
the
a
dragon
vision
on a
quest.
The
vision?
dragon
Oh,
attacked
yeah.
you?
It's the
Has the dragon attacked
hallucinogenic
you?
algae.
Clearly it has.
Yes, the dragon has attacked us. The dragon, it came from the east.
From
From the east, at the end of the southern fork of the river.
Not a little bit northeast, but straight east.
Yes, that southern fork of the river is where the dragon's lair be.
Sun come way.
We
Sun come way?
we've come from
Do
the
not understand your human ways.
directions.
Elf ways.
We
But
have
it's
we have
elf
come from the north.
ways.
We have come anti-Markward, and
Anti-Markward.
from the forest. The spirits of the forest have spoken to us, and they say that much
We
wood
don't
has
like
been taken.
those spirits of the forest. They seem to not like us.
Well, I think they're perfectly willing to get along with you if you didn't just keep taking a lot of wood. And unless I miss my guess, the only reason you're taking a lot of wood because the dragon's been burning it.
That is among the reasons. Yes.
And because you can't hunt to the east because of the dragon's presence.
Yes. That is among the other reasons.
Sounds like you need
Also,
a
we
group
like
of dragon
wood.
slayers.
Classic.
You are a group of dragon slayers, though. You maybe to a group of dragon slayers, every problem looks like a dragon slaying problem. Nonetheless, our problem is dragon.
How convenient.
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe next time don't lead with the dragon slaying thing.
Oh, we can totally. We murder so many dragons.
oh my goodness.
How many is so many? You seem like a trustworthy type.
I am totally trustworthy. 2. Between our group combined experience, we have killed 2 dragons, according to the druid.
Out of character, is this true?
I have no
that
idea.
seems plausible.
But
I'm
it's
just
what you
going
told
to
me.
point
first to
out that
ninth level.
while we have relaxed the Paladin's code, so if any
Yep.
of the higher tenets force you to lie, you can.
That's fair.
There's definitely not anything right now forcing you to
Then
lie.
I will totally just be like, we actually haven't, but we're pretty ready for it.
But
We've
if you have
lots
killed
of other
2,
things.
there have been 6 years. I just didn't hear
We
any
got from
dragons
first to ninth
slaying.
level somehow.
There was that sewer drake in there.
That's probably.
Yeah, it's good enough.
2 seems like a modest claim for
That's right.
for adventurers of our level.
I'm
Yeah.
totally making it up though. Feel
okay.
free to penalize me if you want.
Oh, you might you might wind up having fall from grace for that.
Shellen will just give me nightmares.
Disgrace.
Just
Sean will give you nightmares
Wouldn't be the first one though.
of the fact that you might be stretching it, but you did get it from the druid who could have been telling the truth. So
we did kill. Yeah. No, totally.
you killed
Yep.
Drakus. That is pretty close.
That was pretty close. It was a shapeshifter,
three,
right?
then.
Yeah.
His name is close to Drake.
It
Yeah.
was 2.5, really.
That counts.
Okay.
Oh, so we're Drakus killers. Is that what did you hear?
Yeah.
Drakus is pretty tough, you guys. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
He
All right, so
murdered me
anyway, the
pretty hard.
Cyclopes say, so you're just going to kill the dragon. That's fine. I mean, we didn't offer you anything
No,
to
we're
do that.
we're actually
we're
in the
good,
middle
but
of
we actually like
sort
that.
of we're actually sort of in the middle of something else. We're trying to prevent an apocalypse that is coming.
But you're
and the
dragon
world being
slayers.
destroyed. That's correct. That's how we got to the experience that we have. You don't get to be apocalypse enders by just being people who walk in off the street. No.
But shouldn't you just stop your apocalypse thing for dragons if your main thing is being a dragon
We
slayer?
want to make sure there is years to come in which we can slay
I'm pretty
dragons.
confused. Come in and talk to some of our other people. So you go in. I'm not going to put up minis for all of these, but there's 9 cyclopes in here and their pet cat. It's like the
Aw.
Scooby-Doo of the group. It's a
Nice.
giant saber-toothed tiger.
Aww.
Stay away from my
I
dog.
like it.
So maybe
they're
it's like the
friends.
battle cat of the group.
A total
Thundercat.
coward is what you're saying. It's hiding in the corner.
By the power of Cyclops, of Golgon. No, this is the other Cyclops Empire. By the power of Mordecai. Alright, so, Gosram maybe. They say, who is this that you guys are bringing in? Oh, these are dragon killers. They agreed to help us out, and they have this really cool guy.
Hey, we haven't agreed to help you out. We
Well,
have
he
some
did.
needs
He
of our-
said that you would do it.
we have some needs of our own.
I was actually explaining before you brought us in that we're actually on something of a different sort of mission.
Then why'd you lead with Dragon Slayer?
That's what we are. That's how we introduce ourselves.
We didn't want to bury the lead.
That's right.
We're going to help you with your dragon problem.
Okay, that's what I told the
Probably.
other guy. These
We
guys are
could.
confusing, says the new
could
Cyclops.
help you with the dragon
Could help
problem.
you.
The issue is this. We have come to learn that there's this evil organization called the Night Heralds. They're going to bring about the end of the world in 5 years.
And since you seem to know that, then I guess if you came to learn that, then you've succeeded?
Yes,
Well, we need allies in order to succeed.
that's right.
But you said that you knew it, and you came here to learn it, so why do you need us? We don't know it. We only know it because you told us.
Well, we know that there's a threat that's coming up soon, but we don't have the forces yet to deal
So
with
did
it.
you come to fight dragons, or to learn that fact that you said to me?
Both. Both.
Okay.
And to do
so now
something-
all you have to do is fight the dragon,
And to do
right?
something about it. There's the rub.
Oh, that is a new thing.
Yes, we need to do something about the Night
We do
Heralds,
multiple
and we
things.
lack the ability to do so ourselves.
Well, you are pretty small. And there's only 4 of you.
It's true.
It
You're
is
like
true.
6 times my height.
We do need bigger, more numerous allies in order to fight off the end of the world. Since you're probably not particularly interested in having the world come to an end, I don't want to make assumptions, but I think that you probably want to live a lot more than 5 more years.
The world has already come to an end before for Cyclopes. It was not good.
Well, but this means
That's
that
about
there's
the
no way
only
you can
oral
come
tradition
back.
we've carried down is the
This-
sky turned dark and it was not good.
This will be like double not good.
Yes, I would
That's
say.
even worse than not good.
Correct.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would say in this case the darkness would be permanent.
That's much worse than very long.
accurate.
One of the cyclopes who's out front says, the thing that strikes me as odd is that you guys also mentioned out of the blue that about our other problems that we have with the crazy tree people. So are you going to also slay them after you kill the dragon?
No.
Because that was sort of a thread in your conversation that was never really continued.
I interrupt him. And say, no, that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that when we take care of your dragon problem, you're going to take that territory as your own. That's where you're going to hunt. That's where you're going to get your materials, and you're going to leave the forest spirits and their forest alone.
So that Cyclops is like, well, that's pretty standoffish. And one of the other guys, one of the guys at first was like, no, he's a really cool guy. He came over and he was like, hey. And we were like, hey. And the other Cyclops is like, okay.
He's so charismatic.
Like the
It's like,
fawns.
and then the Cyclops whispers to the other one something in Jotun.
You don't need to whisper Jotun, none of us speak it. You can
Yeah,
just
none of
talk.
us,
You can just
none of us
speak it right
actually
on
know
the-
what
I'll
you're
tell
saying.
him.
But I thought everyone speaks Jotun.
No, that's why we call the language we speak common, is because everybody
Oh,
speaks
we
it.
were trying to whisper in a more accessible language. In that case, we'll whisper in Cyclops. Nobody speaks that.
Can you whisper in common?
No. It's impolite to whisper things about people to their faces in a language they understand.
Oh my goodness.
Womp womp.
Oh, and then the other
You guys don't really have very many
say,
societal norms about. Never mind.
Just yeah.
listen, we have made our own society. Igret has taught us of the way that the sky and the sea will bring bounty to us. The way we do it is by banding together and fighting those who would dare to attack us, and sometimes bickering because our leader is dead.
How do you choose a new leader?
Fighting and bickering.
Generally, what we do is we bicker about the way that we're going to choose the new leader.
Ah.
Some here say our strongest, Thurog says it should be a contest of strength, such as arm wrestling.
Okay.
Our most popular, she says that it should be some kind of voting system where we vote to see who should be the new leader.
That's ridiculous.
So the normal.
I don't know if that would work out
And
very
our
well.
cleverest says that that it must be a contest of wits, so that our leader will be smart enough not to go on a vision quest where there's a dragon that then retaliates against us.
What if all three of those cleverest, strongest, and most popular work together?
That sounds too complicated.
We
for
call
us.
it an
You're right.
oligarchy.
Yeah.
It works.
You didn't say they were the wealthiest.
What?
That's a plutocracy.
Plutocracy. If any of you...
Even we Cyclops know this.
That's it. We're fighting.
So we have no... So if... Here's the offer that we're making. We are skilled dragon slayers. We will take care of your dragon problems. We will do our best to return the body of your fallen chief. If we're able to find it. We will do these things, and in exchange, we will give to you all of the land that the dragon used in order to hunt, and you will bother the forest and its creatures and its trees no more. In addition, we need your help against the Night Heralds, who scheme and plot somewhere up in the mountains. We have a number of allies coming, and we would like to have you among them. Just as you mentioned, it is by coming together and being strong that we succeed.
You want to write that out in the contract, Chilaxian?
Whoa! I have not set one foot back in that country.
We're gonna.
I've left lawyering behind.
Make a pros and cons column and come back to you. So they scratch out in the dirt, and there's clearly
Why
two
don't we
sides,
claim
and they write
leadership?
some things on one side and one thing's on the
Why don't
other
we
side,
claim leadership?
and they come back to you and say that doesn't seem fair. It seems like you guys are doing a little bit more than we are, so we'll throw in a chest filled with jewelry and coins as well if you do this.
Well,
I mean, if you look at the numbers don't lie. It's not balanced.
Nope,
you have
all
to
that-
throw in a chest of jewelry
That all
and
checks
coins.
out right there,
That's
yep.
so kind of you.
all right.
And we're like half your size, so it's like twice the treasure. This is great.
We do it mostly for the world saving, but the treasure is appreciated.
We do it all for the world saving. I would have retired years ago. I'm like in my middle age already.
These jewelry and coins are from the ancient empire of the Cyclops that were around this area, and we have moved past their evil ways, so we don't need it anymore anyway. You guys can take it off our hands, but only if you kill the dragon.
We go and look, and it's like the little pennies that have been run through like one of the crank machines.
They have like a weird
It's like a gold-
Cyclops lich with a glowing red eye on them.
Oh, that's pretty. Ugh.
So, we probably won't come back to claim the treasure if we don't succeed at killing the dragon. So
We're going to
that sounds
succeed in-
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not
we
going to
don't-
give it to you until after you come back.
If we
Kill the
don't
dragon, 'cause
succeed,
otherwise you might just run away with it.
if we don't succeed,
That's
then that
wise.
makes me
That's
a
wise.
liar, and I would feel terrible if that was the case.
These guys seem pretty like forthright. I mean, they and guileless. Like,
Yeah, they're earnest.
yep.
Alrighty.
That's a lot of different words in common, says one of the Cyclops.
Sure is.
They're also
They were all
very
compliments.
astute. Yep.
I knew one of them, and it sounded like that one was a compliment, so I'll just assume the other ones are too.
That's
I'm very
That's
charismatic, so I say
excellent.
everything as politely as possible.
Great. So in that case, well, you know where to go. We'll be waiting,
So do
and
we
we'll
need,
just assume you're dead after a while.
do we need to, anything to bind
Excellent.
this agreement?
No.
the word of the
We've
Cyclops is
sworn
these
it under
ancient
the
people.
sky.
You've
Yeah, that
sworn
checks
it
out.
under the sky.
We've sworn it
That's-
under the sky and over the water here in this bowl. They stir a bowl of stew.
It's
Well,
a
there you
metaphor
have
for
it.
the sea.
Sounds good enough to me.
Yep. Well, let's go commit dragon murder.
Are you worried about them going back on their word? Is that what you're?
They don't
No, I just want to
seem-
make sure that the deal is sealed. I'm not worried
I
about
see
them
what you mean.
betraying
Yeah.
us.
Listen, if you guys come back with proof that you killed the dragon that is attacking us and that we can't deal with, why would we want to attack a group that was that powerful?
Frankly, if we
Good point.
do succeed in killing a dragon, I'm gonna not be able to shut up about it to everybody we meet. So yeah, you'll hear.
Just like
Go
those
to the
other
Night Heralds
dragons.
and be like, "Evil Night Heralds, beware! We're here to kill you." And also, did you know we killed a dragon?
Oh, by the way,
We
Maybe
killed
you
a
can
dragon
turn
like
it
on
into
our
a
way
costume.
here.
That's right.
Just sort of
Yeah.
there. All right, so this is a good place to break for our halfway break during the stream. So for everybody watching us, come back in about 10 minutes. We're gonna start up again, and during that time, everybody here is gonna take a break. We're gonna move them on the map so that they get to the place where we know they're gonna go. We can come in and start with dragon prep and dragon fight for our second half.
Yee.
Sounds fantastic.
Sounds good.